Nobody likes being broke. Absolutely no one. When you're broke, the worst things seem to happen. The car's transmission gives way. Equipment that were in perfect working condition just seem to fail suddenly, or that bout of sickness appears out of nowhere. Sometimes it's referred to as the law of Murphy. Now, it's not rocket science to not going broke. There are just some simple steps that you can take. There are actually 3 practical, simple yet powerful steps that you can take in order never to be broke again. And it doesn't mean that you need to feed on ramen noodles or to save a penny from your favorite coffee in the mornings. The first step to never being broke again is that you save 10% of all your earnings. Now, that is just a start. It's actually a principle that I've discovered while reading the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. So in this economy, 10% is just a start. As your income increases, you want to increase the amount that you save up to 1/3 or 33%, up to 50% and above. And eventually what you do with that money that you would have saved is that you invest it in an investment vehicle that can make you money while you sleep. The second step to take, you spend only 80% of your earnings to pay your bills, to take care of yourself and your family, and of course, pay your creditors. One of the biggest mistakes a lot of people make is that they do everything for themselves while they avoid paying their creditors, the bank, the neighbor, the friend, the family member who they owe. But in those situations, when you avoid paying back the money that you have borrowed, it's very hard for you to retain any money at all. Then the third and final step in never being broke again is that you practice the advanced law of prosperity. Now, this is a concept many Eastern countries, such as the ancient Greeks, Egyptians, Babylonians, Arabians, and even the Chinese, practiced. And I became aware of this concept in my teens, and I've practiced it over several years. But I can tell you that the worst 2 years that I've had financially was when I did not practice this concept. It's like everything went downhill. I had a few vehicles, a few of which were stolen, a few of which were in major car accidents, and then the business that I had at the time also failed. And even though I sold all the cars, sold all that I had, closed the business, and even sold the very bed I was sleeping on, I was still in debt for over $30,000. That's how serious it is. And this is a concept that is both scientific and also biblical. I mean, the first person we see in the Bible practicing this principle is called Abraham. So it's the law of tithing or giving 10% of your earnings to charity, to your church or to your pastor. Now, if you don't believe in a pastor or a church, I'm not suggesting you put your money there. I'm not telling you to support someone or something that you don't believe in. However, if you are being fed spiritually by a pastor, minister, ministry, a church, whatever it is, then why wouldn't you want to put your money there instead of just your words? I mean, you're being fed. So for those who don't believe in a pastor or a church, then giving your 10% can mean that you give it to that child who is in need, or that family, or that friend who is seeking to start a business and needs a kickstart in their business. And then again, paying tithe is not limited to a pastor or church. That's just one limited belief. And as a matter of fact, which is not surprising, is that the wealthiest persons on the planet, they are philanthropists. They are great philanthropists. Many people have it wrong. They think that Mother Teresa was this poor little old lady. No, she wasn't. She was able to give because she had to give, right? She had to give. And therefore, when you give, which you can understand why many of the wealthy people give so much to charity. I mean, John D. Rockefeller was known to have given away more than $500 million in tithe and charities while he was alive. One of the richest men who have ever lived in the US. Warren Buffett, who is still alive, is known for having given away most of his wealth, and he's a billionaire. He's worth close to 100 billion, I believe. So when you give, and these people are people who pay tithe or give to charity, and there are many arguments, people saying, oh, you don't have to do this and you don't have to do that. But what I will say to you is that the universe usually force people to give when they don't give freely. So you may have noticed that many times some people, they're always in the hospital, or their children are in and out of the doctor's office, or their car is always breaking down, or something is always going bad that needs money. The universe forces you to pay or to give when you don't give freely, because the universe gives freely. The air, the sunshine, the rain, the fruits, and all of that, it gives freely. And so there's nothing free. Even grace and forgiveness comes at a price. There's nothing free. And so when you give, the universe opens doors and opportunities and means and ways to give back to you so you can continue giving. So those are the 3 steps that you need to take. Save 10%, eventually invest it, spend only 80% to pay your bills and your creditors, and thirdly, give away 10%. And believe you me, if you practice these 3 steps, you will be amazed over a few weeks or months the amount of money you have coming in consistently that you will never go broke again.